everybody's telling you that you need to eat more salad. Well, we've got their answer. Salads that are not salads, next on Fresh Food Therapy. Welcome back to Fresh Food Therapy. Today's episode is really quick, really easy, and really tasty. It's not the most healthy though. What we're gonna do is we're going to make salads that are not salads. So we have for your pleasure a little bit of tuna salad, a little bit of egg salad, a little bit of broasted chicken salad, and then we're gonna teach you a favorite from the South, pimento cheese. All of these can be used as either topping for crackers, put into a sandwich, or atop a salad. Are you ready? So if you remember from the first season, we did an episode called Quick Setup Continental Style Breakfast. So there's a very good chance that you may have started using hard-boiled eggs. And sometimes when you are done hard-boiling eggs, there's a few left over. Well, there's no need to waste. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take hard-boiled eggs and we're gonna turn it very quickly into egg salad. And all you really need for that is the eggs themselves, a little bit of mayo, salt, pepper. If you would like, I personally like to use a little bit of the mustard, dried ground mustard from McCormick's, and a little bit of onion salt or onion powder. And I like to use a little bit of pickle juice, but those are completely optional. So what we're gonna do is I have some hard-boiled eggs. All you have to do is really break it and peel it. I cheated. I actually have a couple eggs here that I've already peeled, but I wanted you to see how easy it is to peel the egg to get it ready. Now, once you have the eggs and they're peeled, you're gonna use 2 eggs for every sandwich that you're gonna make. That should be a good measurement for the amount of egg that you need. So once you've done that, you're gonna cut the eggs in half and we're going to pop out the yolk. The important thing to keep in mind is that you want to blend all the ingredients together before you add the egg whites back in. So what you have is you have right now the yolks and they're in the bowl. So we're gonna flatten them a little bit. We're gonna get them so that they're broken up kind of evenly so that we can mix in the other ingredients. Should only take a few seconds. And once it's crumbled up and it's ready to go, we're gonna add in a little bit of dried mustard for flavor, maybe about a teaspoon to a tablespoon. And then we're gonna take a little bit of garlic, onion powder. And then I like to add a little bit of salt, just a pinch, and a little bit of pepper. Now the only ingredient that's really left that we have to worry about is the mayo. Now, here's what I'm gonna tell you. Mayo makes an excellent spread for sandwiches, but if you're using it to bind a sandwich together, all the ingredients together, you're gonna wanna go light because you can always add more mayo when you need, but you don't want it to be gooey or mushy. So for maybe 6 eggs here, we're gonna use about 2 heaping tablespoons as a starting point. And what that will do is that will create a nice, smooth cream that you can fold the egg whites into. You want to make sure that it's blended as smoothly as possible and that all the seasonings have been blended evenly. Okay, now that you've done that, the only thing that's really left is mincing up the egg, which only takes a minute. And all you have to do is rough chop. You want them to remain relatively good sized for texture, but you also want them to be able to blend in easily. So if they're about the size penny or smaller, that's usually a good stopping point. And then all we're gonna do is go ahead and add this into the yolks, and then we're gonna fold it together. Once it's blended together smoothly, you are free to add the last bit, which is a little bit of pickle juice just for flavor. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the egg salad complete. You can add a little bit of smoked paprika over the top for color. You could add a little bit of onion or celery to it if you'd like a little bit of texture. But literally, you now have egg salad and you're ready to make a sandwich with it. I know it's not exactly the most sexy thing in the entire world, but tuna fish is an excellent source of protein and it's very versatile. I can't count the number of times that I've gotten home from work, been starving, and was able to make myself a little tuna salad in about a minute and a half. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take cans of tuna. I think these are 5.5 ounce cans. I opened a few before, and this one is open, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you that you take it and you press it to get all of the extra moisture out. Once it's been drained, we put the tuna into the bowl and just make sure that you get all the tuna out. Okay, now, for tuna fish to be very, very good, you can just add a little bit of salt and pepper and add a little bit of mayo and you have tuna salad. But I like a little bit of texture in mine and I like a little bit of flavor. What I find is that a little bit of fresh lemon juice makes a huge difference in the flavor of tuna fish. So I have 2 wedges of lemon juice that I'm gonna squeeze over approximately 2 or 3 cans of tuna. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna slice up and serve a little bit of the celery. Now for celery, you want it minced small. You get the crunch and you get the flavor, but that's not overpowering the texture of the tuna fish. So you take a stalk of celery and you just slice and run it along the length of the celery. Now all you have to do is mince it fine. 1 stalk of celery should be plenty for an entire 3 cans. You can also, if you'd like, add a little bit of fresh onion. A little bit of white onion is very, very mild, but adds a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of zest to your tuna salad. Some people have even been known to add a little bit of hard-boiled egg to their tuna salad. I'm not particularly a fan of that, but if it makes you happy, roll with it. Once the celery is chopped, we're just gonna add it over the top. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Just about a pinch of salt, maybe just a little bit more of pepper. And then we're gonna add the mayonnaise. Approximately the same amount as the previous, where we put about 2 tablespoons. Because there's 3 cans, we're gonna put 3 tablespoons in. 1, 2, 3. Once it's mixed evenly, you're done and you have your tuna fish. I would taste it. If it needs more, add a little bit of salt or add a little bit of pepper. And it's not unusual if you've had some of the flavored tuna fishes out there that herbs do taste fantastic. A little bit of lemongrass, a little bit of thyme, whatever you'd like, maybe a little bit of fresh tarragon. And this should be enough for about 6 sandwiches. So I used to live in Minneapolis, and there was a little tiny place right on the corner at my house on Bedford Street, and they had rotisserie chickens. And every day there would be a few left over, and they would turn it into broasted chicken salad for lunch the next day. And they'd lay their sandwiches out, and all of the construction guys and everybody in the neighborhood would literally line up at 6 o'clock in the morning, waiting for them to open up at 6:30 so that they could get a broasted chicken salad. This recipe is for that memory. So you take a rotisserie chicken that you have leftovers with, or buy one specifically for this. And what we're gonna do is, in this case, we're gonna just take off the breasts. If you were to do this at home, and you were using the entire rotisserie chicken, you would have to bone the entire chicken and remove all of the meat. But in this case, because I've already prepped some of the rotisserie chicken, I'm just gonna take the breast meat off. You wanna make sure, for safety, that you are making sure that there is no bones in the chicken, because people, when they're eating chicken salad, aren't gonna pay close attention, and they will end up ingesting a bone, which is very, very dangerous. So it took me about 3 or 4 seconds, and we've already removed all of the breast meat. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop it or dice it relatively small. You don't have to get it to the point where it flakes into little tiny pieces, but you do wanna have them small enough that they don't have to chew too much to be able to digest the chicken. Once the chicken is chopped into relatively small enough pieces, we're gonna literally just take it and put it in the bowl. Now the chicken from one rotisserie chicken should make about 8 or 9 sandwiches. You're gonna end up with plenty of roasted chicken salad, but don't be afraid, it's gonna go really, really fast. So once you've done that, we're gonna add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And we're gonna add mayo. Now for this is about, I wanna say, twice the amount of tuna fish that we had for the earlier recipe. So we're gonna take about 5 dollops of the mayo and add it to the chicken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're gonna blend. You're gonna work it in very, very carefully, because we're not using a lot of mayo, we're just using enough to get it to bind and to mix smoothly. Now, rotisserie chicken has a great deal of flavor to it. It's already been brined, it's already been seasoned, and it should be salty enough that you really don't have to add very much to it to get a beautiful flavor. But what rotisserie chicken doesn't have in it generally is a little bit of smoke. So to make this really exceptional, what we do is, once it's blended evenly, we're gonna add about 4 drops of liquid smoke. Very, very small single drops. And then we're gonna mix it voraciously to make sure that it blends in. Be very, very careful with this, because it's very, very powerful. That was a lot of liquid smoke. That was about 5 drops in a second, and it's all in one space. So we're gonna blend it out as quickly as we can to get all of that throughout the entire roasted chicken salad. Now, if you want a little bit of texture, once again, you can add a little bit of onion, you could add a little bit of celery. There's nothing that you can't do to personalize this. In fact, some people even go as far as putting in fresh grapes to add a little bit of surprise sweetness and juiciness to the salad. What I'm going to suggest is taste it first and see if you want to add anything to it. And ladies and gentlemen, you have roasted chicken salad. So now comes the recipe for pimento cheese. And this has a lot of moving parts, but it's relatively simple. And I will be honest, I was gifted this recipe when I went to the state of Tennessee. It is, I don't even know how to describe it except extremely decadent and tasty. So what we're gonna do is literally, we're gonna take an entire container of cream cheese, about 8 ounces, and we're going to add to that about 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese. Now, once you've added the cream cheese and the cheese together, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna stick it in the microwave for about a minute. I would put it into 2 blasts, 30 seconds and 30 seconds, to allow it to soften and to move around. Move it with a fork in between, but at least a minute until it becomes soft. So now that we've had it out of the microwave for being microwaved for about a minute, you'll notice that the cheese is starting to melt and the cream cheese is nice and soft. So at this point in time, we're gonna blend it just a little bit, and we have the basis of the pimento cheese. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna season it now. And the best way that I found to season this is a couple sprinkles of garlic powder, a couple sprinkles of onion powder, a little bit of dried mustard, a little bit of black pepper, and just a pinch of salt. Now we're gonna whip it together with all of the dry ingredients to get it even. And now we're gonna add the wet ingredients. I use a little bit of Tabasco and a little bit of Worcestershire. And now we're gonna mix again to get that evenly mixed into the pimento cheese. Now at this point, it should be nice and smooth and should be very, very even. Now comes the secret ingredient. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take pimento, and you can get this in small little 4-ounce jars. Sometimes they're chopped minced, sometimes they're bigger pieces. Because these are bigger pieces, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull out enough for the recipe, and we're gonna chop it so that they're smaller pieces. And once it's finely diced, what we're gonna do next is we're literally just gonna pick it up and add it to the pimento cheese. And we're gonna blend one more time. Once the pimento is mixed in evenly, it should be a very attractive looking spread. It's gonna be soft because it's very, very warm. But what you're gonna wanna do is, if you wanna press it into a mold for a party, go ahead and press it into the container that you want it, like a small bowl, wrapped with a little bit of plastic. And then once it's chilled, pop it out, pull the plastic off, and the mold should be complete. If you're using it for sandwiches, you're still gonna want to chill it a little bit. If you're gonna use it for a party and you want it as a soft dip, all you have to do is put it into a bowl and serve it with crackers or with pieces of vegetable to be able to dip in. Because right now it's soft, it's creamy, and it's absolutely out of this world. You now have pimento cheese. All right, so you now have, if you've followed the recipes and if you've done the work, you have a little bit of tuna salad, you have pimento cheese, you have broasted chicken salad, and you have egg salad, and it's in your refrigerator, which means you are totally prepared should you suddenly be struck by an experience of hangry. What you have in front of you is some crackers with them as toppings. We have them turned into little sandwiches, and we also have a little bit of a salad made with romaine lettuce and then a little bit of the protein of each over the top to kind of make a combo chef salad. Literally, these things will last in your refrigerator for a few days, so you can prep them on a lazy Sunday, and you can have something waiting for you when you get home, when you're unprepared for when hunger strikes or when you need to snack, or they're perfect for entertaining. Thank you again for visiting us at Fresh Food Therapy, and we look forward to cooking with you again.